Hello, I'm Dan Rather, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online Edition. Just ahead, the inside story of the flu vaccine crisis. First it was the shortage. Now it's the scramble for what's left. Has the government bungled this whole thing? Also, overtime. Millions depend on it, but the rules are changing. Where the presidential candidates stand about overtime. In the CBS election series, what does it mean to you? And political cartoonists. They've always given readers a laugh, but now they're a vanishing breed. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online Edition. With many people complaining that the flu vaccine is in short supply, the U.S. government is now reporting the first cases of the flu. Health officials report, quote, sporadic cases in 7 states. They also said existing supplies of vaccine are now being redirected to seniors and other high-risk groups. CBS News medical correspondent Elizabeth Callahan gives you the inside story.
Public health officials are now facing a double crisis, a shortage of flu vaccine and panic about a shortage of flu vaccine. Images of long lines coupled with rumors of small supplies here and there have created a frenzied atmosphere. The government is calling for calm.
Don't wait in line and don't get upset.
20 million new doses are on the way, according to the CDC, which will be working closely with local health officials to distribute them wisely.
We're going to do everything we can to match the doses up to those people in the risk groups.
But there are no guarantees, and public health experts like Erwin Redliner are urging people to be patient and persistent.
They should call their doctor, they should call their pharmacist, they should call the local public health office, and they should call repeatedly, because the supply situation is going to change.
The big question facing doctors is, what will the vaccine shortage mean in terms of actual risk to the public? It's impossible to know. The flu is as unpredictable as wildfire. In an average year with plenty of vaccine, 10 to 20% of the population will get the flu anyway. Though it seems logical that less protection will mean more illness, even more death, we can't know for sure.
We're getting better at treating people with flu, and the flu that we get this year may be much more dangerous or much less dangerous than the flu we had last year.
In the meantime, the situation has even become a campaign issue, with John Kerry quick to point out this happened on George Bush's watch.
Under his plan, you don't have a prayer getting a flu shot, ladies and gentlemen.
The only problem for Mr. Kerry is many elderly voters may have missed his comments. Perhaps they were out standing in line, waiting for a flu shot. Elizabeth Callahan, CBS News, New York.
Jobs and the economy always resonate with voters, and this year the Bush administration has changed the rules governing which workers qualify for overtime pay. What are the Bush and Kerry positions on this? CBS's Cynthia Bowers continues CBS's special Eye on America election series. What does it mean to you?
Looks good.
After 14 years working behind the barrels on Michigan road projects, Rick Brower figures he's earned his job as an inspection team leader.
I worked very hard to get to where I'm at, and I'm very proud of it.
So he was understandably concerned when he heard that under new federal overtime regulations, someday his job could be reinterpreted as supervisory, and he might lose eligibility for the 20 to 30 hours of overtime he averages per pay period.
I couldn't do it without it. I'd have to get a second job or something if I couldn't have overtime.
Or maybe even consider a demotion to a job that is eligible for overtime. So when the candidates talk about overtime and labor laws, they get his attention.
When you look at this overtime issue, could this affect your vote?
It could. Could very well affect my vote.
Ever since last August, when the first major overtime revision since 1975 went into effect, the changes have been a magnet for conflicting campaign claims.
The labor laws ought to be family friendly. The labor laws ought to recognize times have changed.
The president says the changes will guarantee overtime for 1.3 million more lower-income white-collar workers. And while under the new rules, others with high incomes may lose overtime, first responders like police officers and firefighters automatically qualify. John Kerry came out swinging at the new rules from the start, saying as soon as he's elected, he'll reverse them, because his estimates indicate 6 million American workers could lose out.
These folks want to take America backwards and cut overtime pay. Not in my America. We're not going to cut overtime pay.
Rick Brower's overtime is still coming, and his union's negotiating to keep it that way. So for now, he can only wait to see what happens down the road.
You're not sure what people are saying, what they mean. And you find out after the election sometimes what they really meant.
The one thing he knows for sure is, for him, it all boils down to a pretty simple premise.
If you work the time, you should be paid for it.
Whoever winds up getting paid to be president. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Flint, Michigan.
Finally tonight, with all the high technology used to cover the news these days, there's still some who ply their trade with nothing more than pencil and paper. They draw the editorial cartoons. But CBS's Anthony Mason reports theirs is fast becoming a lost art.
I was fortunate to be an editorial cartoonist while Jesse Ventura was our governor.
For 8 years, Kirk Anderson drew political cartoons for the Pioneer Press in St. Paul, Minnesota, until last year when he was suddenly fired.
When I was let go, I was told it was strictly budgetary.
More and more cartoonists like Anderson are finding newspapers are erasing their jobs. The number of staff cartoonist positions at American papers has been cut from 150 to just 80 in little more than a decade. What's making the editorial cartoonist an endangered species? Well, there are fewer newspapers than there used to be. Newsprint costs more than it used to. But in some cases, it's just that political cartoonists have become, well, too political.
I remember basically the new publisher coming in and saying something to the effect that, can we really go a little bit easier on Bush?
Mark Fiore was staff cartoonist for the San Jose Mercury News.
This is one that started to get under their skin a little bit more.
But he says his cartoons and the economy cost him his job.
They want to see it more as an entertainment avenue. They want people to laugh. They want it to be light. They don't want to offend people.
Fiore's space in the Mercury News has been filled with cheaper, nationally syndicated cartoons.
When a cartoonist leaves, dies, or is fired, it's very rare right now for them to replace that cartoonist.
Fiore and Kirk Anderson are now doing freelance work, so would they recommend print cartoonist as a career?
Not to someone looking to buy a Lexus anytime soon.
The cartoonist's job may be to make readers laugh, but these days, it's no funny business. Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
More stories are just a click away, but don't forget to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Tuesday's broadcast, Barely Scraping By, a sobering look at how and why many military families find themselves fighting poverty. For CBSNews.com, I'm Dan Rather.